Do 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 do. All right, let's see. Are we live? We are going live. Let's see. We should be live here in a minute. Do 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 do. I don't understand why this is not live. What's up, guys? Hope you guys are having a great day today. Let's see. I gotta check the sound here. Make sure. Oh, there we go. Looks like we are live now. And I'm gonna check. Oh, you're downstairs. Okay, so Rafael is here. I gotta let him up. Okay, so sound is on there. Sound is on here as well. He should be here any minute. Well, my portero should be calling me here in a minute. Hope everyone's having a good day. This is Andrew from the Medellin Buzz, and we are live. It is 6:01 p.m. It is the 20th of March, 2026. We go live every Friday from Medellin in my office, in my apartment, in El Poblado. And today we're going to be interviewing my friend Rafael. He's a new friend. I met him at a networking event. I'll get into it here once he gets here, once he gets upstairs. But yeah, things have been good so far this week. This week was a really good week, very productive. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of new business. Oh, there's my portero. Buenas.
¿Me dice su nombre?
Buenas, Rafael.
¿Cómo es? Rafael.
Sí, señor. Que suba.
Listo.
Muchas gracias.
Bueno,
Hasta luego.
¿te sabe llegar?
Amigo,
¿Cómo?
amigo, pregunta.
Dígame.
Me dijeron que desocuparan uno de los penthouses acá.
Yo eso no sé, jefe.
Ah,
Tiene que
listo.
hablar con el del día.
Ok,
Bueno.
voy a preguntar. Muchas gracias.
Listo. Bueno, señor.
Ches says you thought today was was Thursday. Ronald, what's up, Ronald? Hope you're having a good day. Franco, what's up, Franco? My brother in the house. We're gonna be heading to Bogota tomorrow to take care of some important business. Definitely a business expense for tomorrow. What's up, Chris? Ches checked in early. Yes, I saw him check in when I put up the stream or the thing or whatever you call it, the stream notification. But yeah, this week went by really quickly. I've been doing my daily vlog. If you are a member, you know what I'm talking about. If you're a member of the channel, you get the members only videos that I'm making, and I'm making one pretty much every single day, which is a daily journal. I know it sounds very boring, and it can be very boring, but it's an insight into what my day looks like, and also what I work on aside from the videos that I put up on my channel and my businesses. It's more about like working on myself, being a dad, being just a good person all around, and trying and battling with living on this earth, I guess. I've wanted to do that for a long time, and now I've got things coordinated in my life where I can do so, and I have a special spot for it for the members only part of this channel. So if you are a member, you get to see those. Those are private, only members can see them. And if you want to become a member, I think it's only like $5 for the entire month. You just hit the join button below and it'll give you the information. Okay, let me go get the door. I'll be right back. I do. More of like a campfire strummer, and I've been playing since I was a teenager, so.
Well, that's my other profession.
I was going to ask you about that here. Go ahead and sit down. I don't know if you need two of these, but you're pretty tall, so maybe just one.
Yeah,
Let's see.
let's see.
Just because it go. Oh, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just put this over here on this side. You're going to have to scoot over on this side just so that we're both in frame. There we go.
Okay.
All right, look at that. It looks good. All right, so we are live. We got people watching us right now.
Hey.
You can talk into this one. You just got to be like a fist away from it, and
Okay.
that's pretty easy. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
How was your day today?
Busy.
Busy.
Yeah, middle of tax season, so it's a lot of work.
Yeah, you're a tax guy. He's a
Yeah.
tax guy, guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a good guy to know.
Yeah, I recommend it.
All right, so let's get into it, man. You're living in Medellin. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where are you from?
Okay. Yeah, my name is Rafael Quesada. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. Um, Migrated to the U.S. at 8 years old. Lived there basically all my life. Lived in a few places. Originally New York, stint in Providence, Rhode Island, Miami, back to New Jersey, up to New Jersey, then back to Miami, and that's where I've been for the long, before moving over here now. But yeah, that's in a nutshell.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, guys, let me know how his volume is. Someone said his volume sounds low compared to you. His mic has to be to the left. I mean, like there,
Okay.
or to our left. Yeah. Or maybe just get closer
Yeah,
to
get
it.
closer.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Let us know as we get. So, can you repeat that again? So, you're originally from the Dominican Republic.
Correct. Originally from the Dominican Republic, migrated to the U.S. at 8 years old. Been up and down the East Coast. Last at Miami, where I've lived the longest in the U.S. And now here in Medellin.
Okay. Let me see. Let me make sure that your microphone is off. Could talk?
Hello. Check 1 2 1 2.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's just this. This.
Cable.
Yeah. Let me just check and see if I can switch it. This one is that one. Let's see. Talk. Real
Check
quick.
check 1 2.
Yeah, that one's better.
All right.
Okay.
Should I go again?
I think so. Let me see. Can you guys hear him now? Say that again.
Hello. Check.
Yeah. All right. So I think his is better. Okay.
All
Can
right.
can you tell us again? You're from the Dominican Republic.
Dominican,
What's that, the third?
Dominicano.
Okay. This is the third time. Third time's a charm.
Plátano Power. Migrated to the U.S. very young at 8 years old. Lived up and down the East Coast, New York, Providence, Miami, back to New Jersey, and then back to Miami. And it's where I was before coming down here to Medellin.
Okay. Okay. So now, where in Medellin do you live?
I live in Envigado.
Okay. And why Envigado of all places?
To be honest, it just happened to be where I want to say landed, if for lack of a better word. Originally, my first week, when I came to stay, because I came a couple of times before, and I was staying in El Poblado, and I was clueless, geography-wise, where was anything, but was guided by a friend of mine, and so when I got here, for the long stay, I stayed a week by the Aguacatala by Santa Fe, and I wanted to something a little longer term, so I actually switched over to a spot in Envigado, a block away from Viva Envigado, and that's where since they didn't have a kitchen, I would go every morning to get my coffee in Viva Envigado. Then my friend, who I was, who was responsible for me even seeing, coming to Medellin in the first place, he's like, well, we gotta get you something long term, and he found an apartment near La Frontera, which is close to the apartment that he had. And,
Okay.
And I just love it there.
Yeah.
And been there for the last, almost 2 years now.
What's that neighborhood called in Envigado?
It's got different names. I see Montiel Dos.
Okay. Montiel Dos.
Yeah, right behind me is El Barrio Zúñiga, which is like the party. It's like a little popular barrio where, amongst strato 5 and 6.
Okay.
And, them guys know how to party, but, it's fun at times. Other times you're like, shit, please cut the music down. It's 2:00 in the morning, and a funny thing is, I don't, you guys have so many holidays here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm clueless as to but when I hear music at 9, 10 p.m. on Sunday, I'm like, okay, Monday, lunes es festivo. So,
Yeah, this Monday is going to be another holiday, by the way.
Well, I'll brace myself for that. Get my earplugs.
Okay, so when was the first time that you came to Medellin before?
So that friend that I mentioned, he invited me down in February 2024. He was like, look, have you been to Medellin? I'm here. Yeah, I tell him, yeah, I see on Instagram you're there. I'm like, you want to come down? Because he needed help with his taxes. He's like, you want to do my taxes? I need to get caught up. And I'm like, sure, I'll give you the link to my portal. You send the stuff, and we do everything, online. He's like, why don't you come over here better? I'm like, I'd love to, but it's tax season, And he's like, look, come down for a weekend, my treat. I'm like, really? Okay. I came down and I was floored. I was like, no, this is gorgeous here. Coming out of that tunnel of Santa Elena, I was like, my goodness, all those lights, because I came at night. And I was telling the Uber driver, I'm like, dude, do you know where you live? I mean, and he's like, I'm appreciating it more that, you guys tell me all the time. I'm like, yeah, this is gorgeous. I'm like in heaven here.
Yeah.
But yeah, was here for 4 days. I went to El Retiro for a couple of days too, because he rented a villa there, and that was amazing as well. Then I came back in March because it was a corporate event.
Yeah.
And met some other people that were in here as well. Stayed here for 10 days.
Yeah.
I even bought my laptop. I did some work, and I'm like, cool. Once tax season ends, I'm coming in May and staying for 2-3 weeks and do some work and see see the sights and stuff. And but now in April, my friend calls me up. Listen, how about you coming down here long term, helping me out? I'm going to be making some investments, and I trust you. So why don't you come down and be my right hand? I said, look, I won't tell you too long term, but I'll try for about a month or two. But after 2 weeks here, I was like, okay, no, yeah. This is where I want to be, and so I got my nomad visa. I started applying for a nomad visa, yeah,
okay.
and got it approved, and so yeah, so being here since April 2024.
Okay, so almost
2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me put this down so people can actually see you.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, there we go. Much better.
Okay.
Yeah, now they can see your beautiful face. All right, guys. So Rafael here from Miami. Were you born and raised there, or you were born in Dominican,
yeah.
but were you raised in Miami? Or?
You can sort of say that. I from Providence, I finished high school in Miami, moved down to Miami, finished high school there, started college, but then I started to partying too much. In Miami, and my dad living in New Jersey is like, look, why don't you come over here, help me out? You can finish college here, and
Yeah.
And funny thing, I moved up there to New Jersey, and our conversation coming in, that's when like my musical side like turned on, and I even stopped college for a couple of 2-3 years so I can pursue music professionally.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's another thing, another part of my life.
Yeah.
A beautiful part of my life. I've been doing it since then as well, like as a hobby.
Yeah.
But it's given me back so much. So I'm truly blessed in that part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, do you go back to Miami like in these past 2 years? Do you go back and forth, or are you just like
I go
100%
back and forth.
here?
No, I go back and forth. I have kids.
Okay,
there.
you have kids there.
My kids, my mom lives in Miami, and I have some roots there actually. Again, going back to I gotta go check on my kids and stuff, and
Right.
So again, going back soon for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Checking on that. Last time I was there was in November.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's cool. That's the beauty about Medellin and Miami. They're not that far away.
Yeah.
To me, it's like closer than New York to Miami.
Right. That's only 3 hours.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's
Okay.
pretty cool. Mhm.
So you work from home.
I do. I work from home or anywhere where I can get internet.
All right.
Sometimes I get bored. I'm like, I need a change of pace, so I'll go to one of the co-working areas.
Yeah.
In town. My favorite spot is in Viva. Envigado.
Working from Viva.
Yeah, the Jardín Nómada.
Yeah, that's a great place.
Yeah, so you did one of your 100 days in Medellin.
Yeah.
You did a day there.
Yeah,
it's
the
pretty amazing.
Pergamino there is awesome.
It's amazing.
I love going
it.
to that place.
Yeah, it's just that your Wi-Fi will never cut out on you. It's always consistent. It's so it's amazing. It's a good thing for me, because
and then the people watching.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and you get to even forge some friendships there too, because you see a lot of regulars there, and everybody says hi here, so that's lovely as well.
Right. Yeah. You start to become a local.
Yeah.
In the location.
Like they know my order.
They know what you're gonna get. Yeah.
Yeah, they know that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I work out of Manila, Barrio Manila.
Okay.
Over here, there's a a couple cafes, and I go in there. I don't even have to say a word. I just sit down and they already bring me my stuff. I'm like,
I
yes.
love that here. Yeah. I mean,
That's the one thing that I don't like about Pergamino. I love Pergamino, by the way, but the only thing is like their ordering process.
I know
you have to go
get
stand in
up.
line.
Yeah. Well, usually what I do is I scan where I'm going to sit first. Then I'll
Put your bag down?
Put my bag
Yeah,
down,
that's
and
the strategy.
because it's pretty limited over there
Yeah,
at times.
it
You know,
gets full.
especially around that in that circle where you're able to connect. You know,
Yeah.
to plug in for electricity. So it's pretty limited there.
Yeah.
So I usually I go scout, see where I'm going to sit, and then come back and place my order.
Yeah, guys, have you guys been to Pergamino when you come down here? They have many locations.
They do.
But I think I'm going to tell Pedro. Sorry, I'm going to. Pedro's the owner. That I would order more if I didn't have to get up and go stand in line and then order and pay and then go sit back down. If they had someone walking the floor, I'd just be ordering all day.
Yeah, me
but
too.
Most of the time, I just order once
Yeah.
and sit there for 2 hours. You know, it doesn't seem right, but whatever.
Maybe like an online ordering system, like from a website. or
Yeah,
something.
like from your phone.
Yeah,
like
from
just
your phone.
download
or
an app.
An app.
Boom.
Exactly,
Yeah, that would be good. Oh, that's
they'll
actually
make,
smart.
They'll make a lot more business
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah. I would
Absolutely.
order all the time from
Me
there.
too. Yeah. So I'm a coffee fiend, So,
Yeah. Okay. So you work from home. You're basically, you're here in Medellin for 2 years, so the
Right.
honeymoon has been over.
Yes.
Usually the honeymoon lasts like maybe 3 months or so.
Yeah.
Then after that, you get into a routine. Can you tell us about what your day looks like? From when you wake up to what you do during the day as far as work, and then what you do in the evenings.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm pretty routine. I'm a pretty routine guy, and I need that for my sanity and productivity.
Yeah.
Because when my ADD kicks in, you start. You go take a break and watch a show for 30 minutes. You end up sitting there for 3 hours. So I have a routine. I get up. I do have a I like to make my coffee. Sit down. I start posting my I guess my social media stuff for
the business?
for the marketing.
Yeah.
And, I get that out of the way. The first post of the day, I get that in. Then I'll start reviewing what I'm going to do throughout the day. And I just start, going on. Usually clients will start, either texting me via WhatsApp or emailing me or writing to me through the portal app that we have, and I'll just get involved with that. Usually, so I work out from at the SmartFit near my house. It's only like 7-8 minutes walking, so downtime there is like in the midday.
Yeah.
So I usually just get up at 12:30. Go work out for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Get back, have something to eat. Because I usually do intermittent fasting, so I train fasted. When I get
So you
back,
skip breakfast?
Yeah, I skip breakfast. Altogether. Although I love breakfast, I just have it at a different time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have
could
it at
eat
night.
breakfast food all day.
Yeah, and so that's one of the beautiful things about being here in Medellin, that working out is so accessible. So there's no excuse in the world for you not to want to work out, because even just getting a walk in, and given the terrain here, there's so many hills and everything, you get a workout from walking 30 minutes, anywhere. And where I'm at also, I'm very central, so I walk 10, 15 minutes, I'll hit a mall,
Yeah.
a little, shopping plaza.
Right.
And so that's really cool. On the days that I don't train at the gym, I walk to El Tesoro.
Okay.
So it's about
That's a
it's a track.
from Envigado?
Yeah, from Envigado.
Holy shit! But at least you're going like parallel with the with the
yeah,
mountain instead of going up and down.
Yeah, well, what I do is I take la inferior, right, and then when I get to almost the Provenza area, on Calle 3, I just go up the hill, and it leads to the Centro Comercial Tesoro. Before I would stop in to Juan Valdez and have a coffee there, and I'll spend 25, 30 minutes. But now with taxis, and I just continue just walking
Until you get to your place.
come back to via the Superior, and for safety reasons, I like going against traffic, so I can
Smart,
see.
yeah.
And but it's amazing because of seeing now how when I first started, I was dying going up that hill, and now it's. Since I'm so used to it, it's like, give me more. I might have to get like a rucksack or something,
Ankle weight.
Yeah. but yeah, it's pretty. You're able. There's no excuse not to train here, not to eat healthy, not to be healthy.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. What about? So you mentioned a lot of the pros about living here, right?
Yeah.
Like the accessibility to being able to exercise, whether it's at a gym or just getting a walk in.
Yeah.
To being able to have a routine and work.
Right.
And obviously I guess your quality of life is good. It sounds like it's really good here.
I consider it. Yeah.
Compared to Miami, which Miami is an amazing place as well.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
It is. But I guess what here in the U.S., unless you live like in a New York or Chicago where they have a great subway system and great bus system, you need a car.
Yeah, true.
Right. And we're so trained to like whatever we got to do, we just get a car. Like, I argue with my brother, right? Because when he comes visit my mom, there's a park 2 blocks away from us. So when I go walk at the park, I walk from my house, walk
Right.
2 blocks. No, he likes to drive that way. Why would you drive there?
That's so American.
Yeah. Just walk.
That's
It's
so
2
funny.
blocks away. You get the extra workout. But
We all did it though. Like I did it when I lived there.
Yeah, but
I used to drive. I had a bank across the street, and I would drive to the bank. And, now thinking
we're
about
so
it, I'm like,
we're so conditioned
it's so
to it,
conditioned to
and-
using your car all the time. I'm gonna move this camera down a
Yeah,
little
sure.
bit because we've got a lot of headspace here. There we go.
Okay.
Trying to frame us better. Sorry, guys. I need like a crew here to like help me. Oh, there we go. Boom. Oh, better framing there. Okay. Yeah. So lifestyle I think is way different here.
Yeah.
It's not to say that it's like exceptionally better than Miami, but it's just different.
I think you can make anything exceptionally better, right? By taking advantage of wherever you are, what it offers, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the things that I love here is hiking. I
Yeah.
love to do. I don't get to do it as much as I should. Or I'd like, because I don't. I used to have a crew that I used to go with, and but they stopped doing it, so I kind of like, and then, so I don't get to do it as much. But like in Miami, you can't do hiking, per se. They have nice parks, but you don't get the hills, you don't get the
Yeah,
mountains,
yeah.
And Envigado, for example, they have some amazing trails. Several that you can try. I haven't been to Las Tres Cruces yet. I'm hoping to
that's
do
a
that
great
soon. But yeah, Miami is a great place. It's just that, I guess for me, Medellin just like checks so many boxes.
Right.
And especially where I'm at in my life right now, I like the fact that I can just relax a little bit more. In the U.S., you have to really be like, going at it every day, and it's not even not to stay productive. It's just you got to be
Just to survive.
You got to survive.
Yeah.
And here you get the work done, and then when I'm done, for example, part of my routine is like when I'm 6, 7 p.m. I'll usually have dinner by then, and I can just relax, in my balcony or I'll go to a movie, which are super cheap here. So I try to catch every film that I could. Love that, and or just go to one of the malls here and walk around and see, this. You get to be more active here, I believe.
Yeah. So it's like more of a better social life.
Yes.
So we know the pros. What are some of the negatives like that you've encountered here that you're just like, shit, man?
Well, I got baptized.
You got baptized
at 2 months being here, walking around in Provenza, and I got my phone lifted from my pocket without even knowing, and I was like,
I thought you got really baptized.
No.
The Medellin baptism.
Yeah.
So you got robbed in Provenza.
In Provenza.
Someone pickpocketed you.
Yeah, and it was like, you know, I wasn't drunk. I had a couple of drinks. You know what that was? That was the night of the Copa America when Argentina beat Colombia.
Oh, yeah.
And I was at a house watching the game, and you know, and then when it ended, let me go check out Provenza, see how it is. You know, there's a buddy of mine that works there, so I usually go meet up with him. So me and him were walking around, and this guy was showing me some tours, you know, some cars. And, you know, he got a little bit too close to me. Like, I take, like, maybe 10, 15 steps, and I'm patting myself in my pocket. I'm like, where's my phone, you know?
Ah.
Yeah, and then some kid shows up, and I saw the guy, you know. He's
Oh,
he ran that way. I'm like, oh, man. But anyway, so it's like, you know, you live and learn, right?
Yeah.
Another time, before that, I went to one of the clubs in Lleras. I don't know how I landed up there. I'm not really a club guy, but I met somebody, a girl from Mexico, and we went there. I even chose the place, so it's not like I was set up or nothing.
Yeah.
And well, long story short, they ran up a 7.5 million peso tab on me, and you know, and you know, I was just thankful. I paid it. I was able to pay it because, you know, it could get nasty. But those have been the two worst things that really didn't turn out to be that bad, but my antennas are up a lot, you know, and I really avoid. I'm a big homebody. I'm not out there anymore. You know, my first, I'm gonna say year, you know, I was going to I really like La Setenta.
Yeah,
you know,
Laureles.
Laureles. So I really enjoy that, you know, as a hangout you know, on the weekend nights. I did that, but then I had to go back to my not staying out late because I want to wake up early type of, you know. So I sort of minimized that to, you know, as much as possible.
Right. Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I get that because my brother is just like that. He's like a homebody as well.
Yeah.
As far as cost of living, changing the subject a little bit. Do you mind sharing what your cost? I guess your total cost was.
Yeah,
You're a
yeah.
tax guy. You should know. all this stuff.
Yeah. Trust me.
What your
Numbers
total
to me.
cost was in Miami, and then what your total cost for the lifestyle that you have here?
Yeah. So in Miami, but that's because I had the kids with me, right?
Okay.
You know, they're adults now. They're you know, they're in college and stuff. But you know, I was doing maybe $8-9 a month. With all the living expenses, you know, $3,000, $3,500 in rent, you know, then utilities. That's another you know, it can get up to another $1,000.
Yeah, with
you know?
the AC and
You know,
stuff.
AC is especially during the summertime, it's like $600-700, you know, with bills, so yeah, so it was like, you know, once they left, you know, went down to maybe $6-7 grand. And I was already, you know, it's a funny thing because this coming to Medellin coincided with me that I was reconsidering whether I was going to stay in Miami or not. I was thinking, you know, maybe it's time to move out of here. It's just becoming a little bit more. And it's not just the cost of living. Everything is getting more and more difficult in Miami, like traffic. Oh, my God. You know, it's funny because I began working, you know, remotely a year before the pandemic hit, but, you know, solidified it, you know, during, you know, after the pandemic that everything became, you know, virtual, and I was able to run my practice virtually. And at times I was like, you know, maybe I should go get one of those co-working offices, because I did that for a while. I tried it.
Yeah.
You know, it was pretty cool. But I had to leave to the co-working office around 9:30 so I can avoid the rush.
Yeah.
You know, and get there in only 45 minutes instead of an hour 30.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing, you know, coming home, I would drive back at 8:00 at night, you know, so I can avoid the traffic.
To avoid it. So
Yes.
you're basically at work 10 hours a day.
Yeah, but even just more recently, before, you know, when I gave up that office, I would go run an errand, something that it was go to the post office, and it would literally take me over an hour.
Yeah.
You know, just going maybe 2-3 miles, 4 miles, but just traffic is just so crazy over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an issue.
Yeah. So in Miami, for you yourself, it was about $6,000.
Yeah.
What is your total expense here?
Not even close. It's funny. I still have some recurring expenses in Miami, and I spend more on Miami than what I do living here.
Okay.
They're on a crazy month. I probably hit 2,000.
Wow. That includes your rent?
Rent, utilities, food, and I buy all my stuff from like farms, organic stuff. 'Cause that's another beauty from here. You can get farm to table stuff. So easily and without having to like
Pay a
pawn
premium.
pawn your kidney.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and so yeah, any if I ever hit 2,000 because I was like going to expensive dinners because it can get expensive, some of
If you
these
go out.
if you go out a lot and that's another thing, I during the week I really like to cook my own meals at home.
Yeah.
On the weekends I like to treat myself a little bit, somewhat, but there have been times where like I've been going out and I'm like, ooh, it's adding up.
Yeah.
So it's all relative,
Yeah. What about so your total's about $2,000, so it's
Yeah.
like less than half of what you were paying in Miami.
Yeah, and it's probably less than that. It's probably like 1,700.
So what do you pay in rent?
Yeah, so in rent, the equivalent. Well, now with the dollar
Going down?
going down, it's gone up a little bit. But it's what when I signed the deal, it was at 1,050 for a 2-bedroom.
Well, you mean 1 million?
Dollars, not dollars.
Oh, dollars.
$1,000. The exchange, right?
Oh, I got you.
So it's 4.2 that I
Okay.
pay in Colombian pesos, right?
And that's like unfurnished or furnished?
Unfurnished.
Okay.
I did have one in the same unit before when it was furnished, but they sold that apartment.
Okay.
And so I wanted to stay in that unit really, really bad because I just love how central it is and. The security staff is real good.
Yeah.
You get your rapis like in 3 minutes, 4 minutes from La Frontera, supermarkets.
And how big is that apartment?
It's 79 square
Okay,
meters.
so it's like a 2-bedroom?
Yes, so it's a 2-bedroom. Yeah, and but it's actually more than enough for me. I mean, I could have done with a studio, but that's what's available, and I'm like, fine. I just I'm gonna try and get my kids over here anyway to visit me more often and stuff like that, and even my parents to come and stay with me for a while now.
Is that a newer building?
I would say it's one of the newer buildings, but it's I think like maybe 15 years.
Okay, and it has amenities and stuff?
Oh yeah, it has an amazing pool. It's got a jacuzzi, kiddie pool. It has a sauna, turco.
Okay.
Has a racquetball.
Oh, wow,
thing.
okay.
Yeah, it has a gym, a spa.
Okay.
A social room for
Yeah.
for parties and stuff like that.
So that's about $1,000 a month or so, give or take, depending on the exchange rate.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically that's half of your budget just
That's
on the rent.
Yeah,
But you're obviously living below your means because you make more money, but you decide to pay for, and $1,000 a month for an unfurnished apartment is pretty high up there. That's why I asked about the apartment buildings. It
Right.
must be nice. It must have amenities,
and
24-hour security.
the view that I have
amazing
is
view.
amazing. Like the alboradas are
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, up there
So
they're
it's like, and I tell people, because people will tell me, well, you can get something for like $3 million. I said, listen, for the security that I feel here, number one, how well I feel being here, $1 million pesos.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
It doesn't force me to downgrade.
Right.
So I'm fine there.
Yeah. This chair keeps going down on you, huh? Here, you can.
Yeah.
You can sit on this thing. That way you're higher, because I feel like he's actually a taller dude. He's, when I stand next to him, but it's just I have this chair that's broken and it just sinks. There we go. That's
much
more
better.
your height right there. I felt like I was like talking to a kid.
A midget. Yes.
Okay, so about $1,000 a month for this 2-bedroom in Envigado in a beautiful apartment with amenities, and then the other 1,000 that you're spending a month is basically your food and whatever you need to do. But you're a homebody, so you don't go out much.
I don't go out much.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I need to start doing more is I want to start doing more like excursions during the weekends.
Oh,
and
like
stuff.
going out to small towns,
pueblitos and stuff like that. I've been to a couple. I've been to a few cities also here in Colombia. Cali. I've been to Cali. I recently was in Manizales.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, quaint little town. It's cute. Too many hills, though. But yeah, I've been to Pereira, but I just want to get out there and see more of Colombia. It's such
there's
a
so many beautiful
so
small
beautiful
towns around
country.
here, too.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Such a beautiful country. It's incredible, man.
Okay,
Incredible.
any other cons or negatives of living out here?
Well, the thing is, again, since I'm very, I don't want to use the word hyper vigilant, but I'm pretty vigilant, So
Yeah.
I'm like,
You're aware.
I'm aware of I try to be as aware as possible of my surroundings. Again, I don't put myself in situations or in places where I perhaps shouldn't be, you know. And so far so good.
Yeah.
So thankfully, knock on wood or whatever I can find. But it's Colombia has treated me real well. It gave me those two small lessons at the beginning. But again, this is luckily it wasn't nothing major nothing bigger. That where I was like traumatized or whatnot. Just ticked me off a little bit.
Yeah. So as far as your future in Medellin, do you plan on staying here longer term or?
I would like that.
Okay.
I would. I can. It's funny, when I was in November, I hadn't visited Miami last year. I went in January and then in November.
Yeah.
And that term, amañado, those 10 months really Medellin grew on me. And so I recall that when I was in Miami in November, I was there for like about 16, 17 days. And after like 5 days, I was like, man, I want to go back home. I feel so out of place here, and once I saw that my kids were well and that my mom was doing good, I was like, God, I want to go home, but had to stay there.
Right.
Okay.
Finish up. Yeah. So it is possible to live here really well on $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
And I think your case is a little different because obviously you make more than $2,000 a month,
Yes.
but you've decided that that's going to be your budget per month, and you don't really waver from that.
And my thing is, it's a little personal, but I'm hoping to extend my nomad visa. And if that happens, then I'll invest more here.
I got you.
Like for example, in my apartment, I just have the essentials as far as like furniture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't know if they're going to deny me, and then I'm going to have to make moves. And I want to be like one of those people on Facebook groups, selling off their stuff, for dirt cheap. So I just have the essentials. Once I find that I'm, a stronger footing, then I might even leave that unit and move to a house.
Right.
This is the first time, since living in New York City, I'm living in an apartment. Again, it's an apartment that I really like.
Right.
But I really like a house. I want to get a dog. And although that's another thing I love about Colombia. They love dogs here. Oh my God. It's like, we thought we were crazy with dogs in the US. No. Colombia takes the cake with that, at least, from my experience.
It's like a family member.
Yeah, it's like a family member here. And there's so many dogs in my unit. And the only reason why, again, I don't want to get a dog and then finding myself having to leave.
Yeah.
And then, a headache, trying to get the dog back to Miami and stuff like that. So once I get a stronger footing here, then I plan on making, the investments.
You just got to get married. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get to that. All right, before we get to the next section on the questions here, let's say hi to some of the people that are live here. What's up, DJ Banny from Barranquilla? T-Mac, how's it going, T-Mac? Hope you're having a good day. Jason, how you doing? You're born in Cali and finally got to my ID from here, but as I tried to leave, they told me I need a passport from here. You mean from from Colombia? Okay, did not know that. Realist says, hi, Andrew. I live in Manizales and recently started making walking videos inspired by you. Nice. Awesome. Yes. The walking video is a trending thing right now. I highly encourage people to do that. Derwin, what's up, Derwin? I'm here now in the comments. All is right with the world. Yeah, we missed you in the last lives. Ryan says, hola desde Louisville. Nice. Let's see. Did I miss anything? No, that's about it. Okay. So as far as safety is concerned, we just talked about it. You were robbed here. You were pickpocketed like the first year that you were here.
Yeah.
Kind of like a passage
Yeah, rite of
to
passage,
entry.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
rite
yeah,
of
yeah.
passage in Medellin
Mm-hmm.
for many people.
Right.
Knock on wood. I've never
Yeah.
been robbed in Colombia, but
Yeah.
that's crazy. And I know that it could be half of it luck, and then half of it is what you talk about. I'm highly aware of my
Yeah.
surroundings,
Mm-hmm,
and growing up Latino, and Colombian, it's instilled in you
Yeah,
to
it
always
is.
be
Yeah,
looking out.
I agree. I agree.
So as far as safety, do you feel that Envigado is safer than parts of Medellin, or how does that differ?
Where I'm at, I feel that is very safe. Although I don't let my guard down, but everybody everybody I speak to, because it's funny, when I was in Miami visiting, I was like talking so well about Miami. I said, the Board of Tourism should be paying me a salary, because I'm promoting Colombia so much.
Right.
But safety is very important to me, because again, I have a family, I have kids, and I feel myself, responsible to stay, upright for them, and not because I was, dando papaya, as they say here, or just like being aloof and not, paying attention to my surroundings. So, I'm careful. It's not like I'm going crazy. I watch where I'm going. I'm big on geography. I like to see where know where I'm at exactly, what place I'm at in on the map.
Yeah.
So I'm very very into that. It is just me, and it's in my nature. But I find I feel safe, and really that's why I guess I want to stay here long term. I can't imagine in a place where I feel like, I don't know, this imminent threat.
Yeah, where you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just gonna ask that because, like, obviously there are a lot of pros, but one of the big cons that a lot of people mention is, I wouldn't want to live in a place where I constantly have to be aware of my surroundings.
Yeah. I set a routine. For example, like I said, even that walk that I make. Like, for example,
exactly where you're going.
I know exactly where I'm going. I know the type of the appearance of the people that walk by me when I'm there. I'm walking against traffic, so I see if anybody's gonna stop in front of me. I've had a couple of people, like ask me for directions, and I don't get too close when they ask me, for stuff, because I've heard about the scopolamine powder, they'll throw it on your face or whatever. So I'm very careful with that. But again, I don't feel that it's a stressful thing for me. It's just a natural way of being, and I get to enjoy, the beautiful vegetation, the greenery, the scenery here everything is like, out of a postcard all the time.
It is, yeah. And I have a little take on that. It's a contrarian take on this, that I understand wanting to live in a safe neighborhood and a safe place where you would never have to think about these things.
Right.
But I think I would hate to live like that, because I would hate to be a weak man.
Right.
Like, I may get heat from that on the comment section, but I don't want to be so safe and so fluffy and protected that I go travel to like another country or another city and I just get taken advantage of, and I feel like, man, my masculinity has been robbed from me because this whole time I've been sheltered.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the way I feel, and it's not because I'm biased and I live here. I think that if I didn't live in Medellin, I would probably live in a city anywhere else in the world that's similar, that has the beautiful things about it. But I don't want it to be like I grew up in a sheltered neighborhood of Mission Viejo in California, and it was fucking boring as hell.
I can imagine. We used to see in Miami where
boring as hell.
You only hear the cars driving in the streets. You don't hear nobody.
People just wait to get old and die.
Yeah.
That's what they do there.
Yeah. And it's even like with my parents, I tell them, like, you guys got to go out and see more. They visit the yard every now and then, but go somewhere else.
That's a spice of life, right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like
and truly, again, I don't feel that I have to be hyper vigilant. I'm just
like paranoid. Oh my God.
No. I'm just like, okay, where am I? Conscious, like not walking around with my phone out.
Right.
Too much. If I'm gonna be like looking, I might turn around or find like a little corner where I can just it's common sense things. I feel. not again. I do not feel like an imminent threat or anything like that. And at some point I want to maybe hang out. Goes, I don't know Bello yet. And you hear you hear the stories from over there.
Yeah.
But I would love to see how the normal people live. I
mean, you could just go take the metro all the way to Bello and get off at Nikia and go to the mall and just people watch there. Go to the Smart Fit there one day and just check it out.
I'll probably do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. Again, I'm such a homebody and such a routine guy.
Yeah.
It's funny. Some of the friends that I talk to, I'm like, and I tell them, what did you do today? I'm like, oh, I went out. Where did you go? I went to the Viva. I'm like, Viva again? I'm like, yeah, I do everything. My barber shop is there. When I go do my manicures and stuff like that, they're there too. Pergamino's there. So why go to another place? but I get their point, and I've been like, ¿cómo se llama? Sightseeing for the malls and stuff, Arcadia and Mallorca, I know Tesoro real well, Santa Fe también real well.
Man, I can't believe you walk all the way up there.
Yeah, bro.
Envigado, man.
I love it.
You're challenging me now because I walk every day.
Yeah,
I do
that.
my videos and stuff. But I've never walked up the hill.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take you up on that challenge. I don't know if I could do a video because it'd be like,
at least the first time you're gonna be really gassed, But now again, I'm like, I listen. I'll put in a podcast, and granted, the headphones that I use, they're not noise canceling because I want to hear my surroundings.
That's situational awareness. Where mine? I have mine. Mine are the bone conduction ones, the ones that sit outside the ear, like the shocks, they're called. Yeah, and then you could hear everything and hear the podcast.
Yeah,
at the same
I
time.
have before I used to wear the AirPods, but that has it seals in there. Yeah. So I bought the new ones that came out, the Beats Pro, whatever, with the little thing, and noise filters in. Okay. So and I'm usually listening to podcasts, so it's not like loud music and whatnot. Yeah. But it's that walk. I actually look forward to it because it's just I just feel so great afterwards. Yeah. And I think I tell people I think I've walked more in these 2 years that I've been living in Medellin than I've done in my entire life because there's a lot of walking that I do here. Yeah. Even the malls, in Viva, sometimes when I'm conscious of the steps that I take. So when I have the step counter on my Apple Watch, and when I'm seeing I'm at 7,000, I'm like, let me walk around a little bit. Let me get the other 3, and I'll just we'll start walking around and stuff. But
it's so true. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think walking is definitely underrated as a exercise, but here it's part of life. It's part of life. Yeah. All right. So as far as before we get to the next section. Let's see. There was a funny comment here. Where is it? I saw. Oh, here we go. Chef Jeffrey says, "Hi, good evening. I'm 7 foot tall and looking to move to Colombia. I would need a longer bed, taller toilet. Any thoughts on this?"
Yeah, it's funny because even buying clothes over here is a challenge for me because I'm a big guy. Not that big, but I'm.
Well, you're like 6 foot tall.
Close. I'm 5'11".
Okay.
But I usually wear 2X and up, and usually they like the sizes here. It's not like in the U.S. I think they exaggerate the sizes over there. Like for example, you get a size 36 pants, they'll make it stretchy, so a 38
so it's actually like a 40.
So then you feel good because you're fitting into a 36. Here, a 36 is a 36. Yeah. So there's no.
It's a hard stop.
Yeah, it's a hard stop. So I have to buy my clothes in the U.S. when I visit, or use Amazon. Yeah, that's another thing. That's when I saw that Amazon delivered to where I'm like, okay, I'm staying here. De aquí no me saca nadie.
Chris says that the shower is going to hit him in the belly button. Bro, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing
with you. That's right.
Because I'm 6'3", and I had to change. I rent this apartment. I had to change the shower head. Literally the whole configuration, meaning that it doesn't come out from a pipe. It will come from the ceiling. So it's rainfall, in the master bedroom. Because I would hit my head on it. So at 7 foot, you're going to hit your head on the ceiling, probably. Yeah. Well, not. So there are apartments with high ceilings. I don't know about the whole toilet situation. You're going to have to put the toilet on.
You might have to sit in the shower.
You might have to put the toilet on, the yellow pages, so it's a little higher. But yeah, I think you're gonna have trouble anywhere you go in the world. 7 foot tall.
Yeah. I know.
The good thing is that
a blessing and a curse.
it's a blessing and a curse. Yeah, people will definitely you'll get attention out here from both women, men, everybody,
Yeah.
and nobody's gonna try to rob you
Yeah.
because they can't even reach your pocket. Okay, so dating and social life, Rafael.
Yeah.
What was your experience? What has your experience been like dating in Medellin?
Dating could be a little complicated.
Why?
You know, when I first arrived here, you know, my social circles didn't even lead me to me dating because there was, you know, I'll always be attending parches and fincas and stuff, and you know, there's always be people to talk to, you know, people to meet, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But you know, I've also dabbled in the apps.
Okay.
You know, but I do have some. Again, being vigilant, not hyper vigilant, like I really got up to speed on what happens with scopolamine and stuff like that, and see how they get you. And I'm always in the groups, you know, not looking for that, but whenever a story comes out, I pay attention to it, right? And I do have my guardrails in place for that thing, you know. And I've been lucky, not that I've been, you know, that I'm dating, you know, a lot of women from there, or even like, you know, I don't do, you know, the ones that charge for, you know, that I don't do that, you know. I'm it's not in my, I don't like it. I don't feel that I have to pay for that, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny because I did have somebody that seemed like a nice person, and I invited them to my place after talking to them for a while, and that person came over. Now I have a steadfast rule. Luckily, I'm not a huge drinker.
Right.
So when I'm with somebody, I don't drink.
Okay.
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 And especially at home.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but this person, she came over and, you know, we were sitting down and I said, look, you know, I have tequila, I have whiskey, you know, what you like? But, you know, just, and to avoid like a weird conversation, I said, look, I have a rule that during the weekdays I don't drink.
Okay.
Because this was like a Thursday.
Yeah.
You know, I have to get up early in the morning. I got to be productive.
Right.
The next day I need my head clear. You know, so I had I gave her some tequila and ice. You know, she's like, you're really not gonna drink? I said, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. We're watching TV, and she's like, you sure you don't want to drink? She's like, can you get me water? I'll get her water. You know, and then again she asked me, why don't you refill my tequila? I said, fine. Then when I came back, she's like, at least drink the water. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You left.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well,
yeah,
drink
at least
your water.
drink the water. I said, no, it's already, you know, late, and I don't want to have to wake up to pee at night, you know? But I was like, it got kind of, I said, listen, I think you should leave, you know?
Yeah.
And she just got up and left.
And you never talked to her after that?
No, I blocked her, you know, deleted her. I didn't want to make a scene either because, again, you never know if they're linked with somebody else. You know, she already came to where I'm at. Probably been, you know, mistake on my part. You know,
Yeah.
but anyway, I just let it. No, let that.
Oh, you kind of like dodged the bullet there.
Yeah,
I did.
I did, and you know, I hear the stories, and my heart breaks for the guys that you know you hear the stories from them, like, you know, I woke up and you see the videos, you know, and they're walking out with everything. I said, because I think to myself, man, they did that to me, you know. Oh my God, I'd be so heartbroken.
Yeah.
You know.
So you were talking to that woman for a while.
Yeah, for a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks. Where was she from? Do you know what neighborhood she lived in?
I think she was in Robledo.
In Robledo?
Yeah.
That's low-income neighborhood.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, that's a normal icebreaker here. When you meet someone, it's like, oh, where do you live and what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
And if they tell you and they're from a low-income neighborhood, and this is basically on the apps, because you can meet people out in, someone working at the mall or something, and they live in Robledo, then at least you know they're a normal person. They're not like just scouring the apps for hunting, right?
It's and again, but I have met some great people, gone out with some great people where I have great times. You know, haven't settled down. You know, I am talking to somebody, you know, right now.
Okay.
And hopefully that'll, you know, but that'll
solve your visa situation.
Not that
Would you
way.
ever get married again?
I've never been married.
Oh,
actually.
but you had kids.
But I had kids.
yeah,
You know,
okay.
I live with them. You know, with my baby mama, as we call it.
Yeah.
Right. I hope it's not a derogatory term for
Nah.
anybody. You know. But yeah. You know. But yeah. And you know, if I find the right person, I would like to get married. So married is it's not that I'm opposed to marriage. It's just I
haven't found it.
Haven't found it
Yeah.
yet. You know.
Gotcha.
But the one thing is though that I say I am not gonna get married for anything else besides wanting to live with that person, you know, be with that person for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know how many times in the U.S. I was being offered up to $30K to marry somebody for a visa.
For a visa, wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, because I've seen firsthand. You know, I used to. My dad used to have a multi-service agency in New Jersey. And you hear the stories from people that did that type of arrangement, and now it's even more difficult, right? Because they're actually checking, but you have people that were being like blackmailed, you know. And I said, look, I'm not going to put myself in that situation, you know. If it was even you just I don't know, it just never appealed to me, and I don't need any headaches.
Right.
And hear the same, you know. It's funny. I've spoken to a couple of people, to a couple of girls, very nice girls, that that I explained to them the situation that, you know, I'm looking to renew, and one of them is, listen, you know, I think you're a very good, you know, nice guy, and if you need, you know, you need it, I'll marry you, and we'll sign stipulations and everything. I'm like,
No.
darling, thank you so much, but
Not necessary.
no,
Yeah.
not necessary. You know,
Yeah.
I'll cross that bridge, you know, if I need to. You know, but I will exhaust every other mean
Right.
possible. You
Yeah,
know.
there's so many other ways anyway.
Yeah,
It's not,
yeah.
it's not marriage. I agree with you. I think marriage should be
It's sacred. You know, it's sacred.
Sacred, especially if you're going to be living with the person.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
For papers alone, it sucks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So is dating and meeting people out here easier than in Miami?
Very, very, and I'll say the first reason is because it doesn't get that pricey. Okay, I've been on dates in Miami where I spent $300-400,
Wow. Yeah.
you know, for simple, you know, a couple of cocktails, you know, a nice dinner,
Yeah.
you know, and not even at a high end restaurant, you know. And here, if you spend, you know, 400,000, 500,000, you know, you're still getting a decent meal.
That's a lot, though.
You know, and-
400,
I'm saying,
500,000.
but that's
a
with
lot, yeah.
wine and you know and
Yeah.
maybe a cocktail or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pricey. But that, you know, when you translate that into dollars, you know, wow, you know. So
Yeah.
for somebody from here, it'll be like wow. But for, you know, for you know, us that, you know, that do the
conversion,
exchange.
yeah.
I'm like no, it's just no. I love this. You know what I'm saying? I got to do these more often.
You got to take them to Frisbee, man.
I had frisbee yesterday.
Frisbee is like the best
I hadn't
fried
done
chicken
that.
ever.
I hadn't done that in a
That's
you know,
so
I hadn't done
good.
crispy in a while
Yeah.
because I had a bad experience at one that I like their chicken sandwich. And
I haven't had it, actually.
Oh, it's amazing,
Yeah.
bro. And you know, I've had it. That's what I usually get, and the chicken tenders. You know,
That's what I get.
but
yeah.
one time it was like the meat. I don't know, that one time out of like 100, it just didn't feel like the chicken was like cooked thoroughly or whatever.
gotcha.
So you know, and it felt like rubbery. I'm like, okay, no, this is not it. But again, I had just had it yesterday. And was like, my God, you
Yeah.
know. But I can't do it too often, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you weed out, let's say, someone fake trying to
Yeah.
get into your life?
Get into my life.
Or like trying to, when you meet a woman,
Right.
Whether it's in person or on an app, how do you weed them out? You're like, yeah, I don't know about this person.
Well, you want to. One thing that I discuss with them is their goals. You know, what do you want to do? You know, what do you do? You know,
Yeah.
and the standard answer is why I study English. I'm like, okay,
Oh, really?
or I study cosmetology.
Okay.
You know?
I haven't been on the app for so long. I don't even know this.
So that's the you know
I
the-
study English.
one of the more popular. Yeah, I study, you know, English. Because I'm thinking, well, you know, you're doing nursing, you know, you're doing, I don't know, psychology. I've met a lot of psychology professionals
Majors,
here.
yeah. Yeah, there are a
professionals
lot,
here. Yeah, it's big over here. I like that. Very intelligent women. But again, you see that, and you know, my little antennas go up. I'm like, okay, this might be a working girl, has a
Yeah.
side gig,
Right.
this and that, and so, but the funniest thing that happens to me is, and I know it's because the situation, in Latin American countries, I know that women are severely underpaid,
Yeah.
and really, I still don't understand how people make ends meet, earning a minimum here.
Yeah.
And not just even here. I have the same situation when I go to DR.
Yeah.
That you hear people are making, so little. You're like, Dios mío, I spent that for lunch. How do you live off of that? Or in a month, but essentially, you got some that are needy and they're really out there because they probably heard from somebody. Look, I met some nice guy who's helping me out financially.
Yeah.
So a lot of women are out there looking for that, and to be honest, there's been some stories that broken my heart, and I'll send them 50,000 pesos, something like that. I'll neck it to them.
Yeah.
But there are other times where you're like, you get some that keep coming back, and I'm like, darling, that was a one-time thing. I can't be doing that. First of all, you're not we're not together. I listen. I understand. A role as a male in a relationship. I do have to support you economically, but that's once there is a relationship, not after meeting you 2-3 days. After 3 days, you want me to pay your arriendo.
Yeah.
Your rent. And I tell them, and I'm honest. Look, I'm talking to different people. So if I decide to do this for everybody, then I'm going to go broke.
Yeah.
Right. So but it hasn't been, it's just some of the situations that have happened that are kind of like, I don't want to say funny, but it's weird in a way, because in the U.S. you don't get that
Right.
much, but I get it. I understand why it happens.
Right.
But I've met some, some professionals that really are just interested in you, and for some reason it doesn't work out. It might be, we have, just don't have differences in our characters.
Right.
We just don't mix well. But yeah, it could be simple, or it could be hard.
Yeah.
And I think luck plays a lot into it.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer, though, that here, it's like I was telling somebody, joking around, I said, I'm just going to go to Viva, stand in front of Home Center, stop the prettiest chick I see. I say, hey, listen, can you tell me where Home Center is? And she'll say, like, there. I'm like, oh, hey, what's your name? And just break the ice with that. You don't
even need a pickup line here, though. That's what I found.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
I think a hello and how are you and that starts it off, and you'll have a very pleasant conversation with somebody, because they're like that here. They're like that. And,
Yeah. Would you, hypothetically, if Medellin was exactly how you described it, your lifestyle was awesome, but the women were either ugly or very similar to what they are in the United States, would you still live in Medellin?
Yeah, see, people ask me about that, because when I tell my friends, I'm in Medellin, like, bro, some paisa must got you by the balls. I'm like, bro, let me tell you, on a list from 1 to 10 of things that attract me to Medellin, women would probably be like 6 or 7, the women, because first of all, and it's a little joke because I saw it on Instagram, some Dominican guy saying that the problem when I visit Medellin is that when I come back home, I find everybody ugly.
It's so true, though.
But it's true. You go, because here, people are beautiful. It's genetics, but it's also people take care of each other, themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I tell people over here, like, as in the U.S., everywhere you turn, there's a fast food joint.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Here is a gym. So you either see a Body Tech or a Smart Fit or a Action Black. It's like crazy here, but I freaking love that.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason, there's no excuse. Like I can either walk to the one near me, which is 7-8 minutes.
Yeah.
Or there's another one on La Inferior in El Poblado. I think you worked out of there one day.
I did, yeah. I love that one.
Yeah, that was nice. I haven't been there yet.
That's a good one, yeah.
But I pass it on my way. When
Yeah.
I do my walks, I'm like, maybe one day I come. It's maybe a 25, 30-minute walk, I wouldn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
But, but I just have my routine in the other place, and I know the hours, that I get my workouts in without people being all over me. But again, it's just so easy, it's so easy.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, obviously the women thing is a perk because I would probably still be in Colombia because I was deported to Colombia, and I was like,
right.
I mean, I guess I could move to another country if I wanted to, but I kind of felt like, I want to stay in my home country, and when I realized that everyone is just. When I say everyone, the women, because the guys are ugly, but the women are. The discrepancy in beauty between the women and the men is just. How are these people mating and creating these beautiful women when the guy looks like fucking Quasimodo from?
And I see some gorgeous women with these guys that I'm like, oh my God, girl, what's wrong with you? You're a doll. What are you doing? We have a term in Dominican for that. Esa come vidrio. She eats.
She's
glass.
Dang.
Oh man.
So Derwin wasn't here when you said what your monthly budget is here. What's your monthly budget here?
Close to 2,000.
About $2,000,
Yeah.
Derwin. That's what he lives in Envigado, and he rents like a local, meaning that he rents. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So how did you get that rental? Because here it's really hard if you don't have like a cedula.
I was very fortunate. It's a good question because I moving to the second unit, second apartment in that unit, I got a little bit scared because originally when the apartment was being sold, and I'll go back to the beginning, but they were telling me that the new owners were considering keeping me on as a renter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, I don't have to, but they couldn't come to an agreement because they wanted the buyers to buy out the furniture, so they couldn't come to an agreement.
I gotcha.
So they said, no, you got to go. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? But the one thing I tell people here, the key here, where you live at, be kind to the security guards, okay? Those guys can either make or break you, and I'm very, conscious with these guys. I always say hello to them. During Christmas, I buy them their bottles of guaro, so they can enjoy, and every now and then also I'll give them 100,000 each, as a tip, the 6 of them, but you want to keep those guys happy because, they'll take care of you. And that's been my situation. But so I'll start from the beginning, so when I found the apartment with the help of my friend originally, he told me, I said, look, they have it listed on Airbnb because it wasn't on Airbnb. Talk to them. And since I didn't know I was going to stay there, right, talk to them about removing it from Airbnb and doing it in a direct, tell them you'll give a deposit and you'll pay them for 3 months.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So they did that, and I just kept, I extended for another 3 months, then for 6, then another 6, and then it got sold. Now, for the new one, I'm like, what am I going to do? So I go talk to one of the security guards, and I'm like, bro, this is happening. I'm like, bro, listen, Rafael, or Don Rafa, as they like to call me. They, bro, Don Rafa is my dad. I'm Rafa, But there's another apartment just like that one, but it's unfurnished. I said, bro, I'll take it. I don't want to leave here.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave this unit. It's just too amazing for me,
Right.
And so we started, it was actually being posted by an agency.
Okay.
So we tried to do the thing, but since I'm not, I have a cédula extranjería, but that's really nothing here.
Yeah, and you have no credit
no
here or
credit
nothing.
here or
Yeah.
nothing. So I was like, so I, it wasn't working out. So I go back to my security guard. I'm like, bro, it's not working out. I say, man, they always make it so difficult. I know the owner. I got you,
Yeah.
bro. He talked to the owner for me. We tried doing it she tried to do you get like an insurance.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But sure, it was through Shura.
Yeah.
And Shura wasn't doing it either. And she's like, but he gave me a good recommendation with her.
Right.
And the lady was like, all right, just give me a month's deposit. And, I've been there for what? Close to 10 months now, 9 months.
So it's gone well.
And it's gone well,
Awesome.
And so, yeah, but you talk to them and
That's
and
a
you
good
can come to
strategy.
agreement. Yeah. So, like I said, at first I told them, look, I'll pay you for 3 months and a deposit, and then just be, And look, if you're not being, you're not giving them headaches or whatnot, all they want is their money without, and it worked out for me. So I've been fortunate in that aspect.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. So the key is basically to talk to the
Yeah,
porteros.
talk to the portero.
Like if you're staying in an Airbnb and you like that building, talk to the porteros,
Yeah.
make friend with them.
Yeah, look, even if you're visiting, you're staying for a week, tip the guy,
Yeah.
tip the portero, and if there's two of them, three of them, 10, $20 a piece, it'll get you so far.
Yeah.
Trust me.
True.
It'll
True.
get you so far.
Yeah. Yeah, even just like a 20,000 peso bill.
Yeah,
Like for someone that's like,
And it's funny because I was telling somebody, somebody that I was seeing, that for Christmas, aside from the guaro, I was going to give them, like $200K each.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You crazy? That's a lot of money." No, the guaro is fine. I'm like, in the end, okay, I'll just do the guaro. But every now and then, like, I'll see them and I'll give them an envelope and say, "Look, this, there's 300,000, 50 for each, and then they're like super happy. Don Rafa,
Right.
thank you so much, this and that, and so
Yeah.
you can't beat that.
yeah. So segueing into what you do for a living, can you tell us a little bit about what you do? How you make U.S. dollars and live in Colombia?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So I'm an accountant by trade, one of my two professions. The main one is how I earn a living. The other one is just a hobby. Yeah, so I'm an accountant I've been doing accounting since I was still in high school. Never became a CPA because life threw a curveball at me and I had to become a single dad. So I couldn't do that fifth year. But I've worked in corporate accounting my entire life until I got tired of it. And, when the pandemic came out, I opened my own tax and accounting practice. I was always doing taxes on the side during tax season. But at that point, I became an enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is basically a CPA, but just for taxes. And you're basically admitted by the IRS to do the taxes. Plus, you're able to represent people when they have a tax problem. So, and that's a specialty. It's called tax representation. Anybody who has a tax debt, back taxes, you sign a power of attorney, and you're able to negotiate on behalf of that person, and yielding very good results. At least getting to a point where you come into an agreement for a lesser amount, and you paying, but you're current.
Yeah.
Because one of the key things that people don't understand that could happen to you if once you have delinquent debt with the IRS for over $50,000, delinquent, okay, the State Department will get a notice and they'll take your passport at the airport, and you cannot travel until you come to terms with the IRS, some sort of agreement. Bring that, the IRS won't make a payment arrangement automatically for anything less than 50, for any debt under over 50,000. So you have to come to, talk to them and see if they'll do a special, dispensation, or this is the, way where they can, but yeah, you got to be careful with that. But I also do, tax prep, which we're in the middle of tax season, so we're doing a lot of that. But I focus more on small businesses and high net worth clients. A lot of people with cryptos, people with the ESOPs, which are like an employee stock options and stuff at their companies. Also, we do a lot of tax planning throughout the year. And that's very important, because once you start making over $100,000, that will help you save a lot of money in taxes.
Right. And how do you get your clients?
So I do marketing on Facebook, Instagram.
Like paid marketing or just organic?
No, I do organic. I do
Okay.
organic. Once I'll eventually do some paid, going forward, since I'm not in the U.S., right? Because in the U.S., since you're meeting people and people see you, they know, he does taxes. So you get a lot of clients like that, and word of mouth also, referrals is big as well. But yeah, I also do bookkeeping as well. I also do, I'm a certified acceptance agent, so that means that if you need an ITIN, which is like a tax identification number for non-residents, and you want to be able to, report what you make to the IRS, which is important when it comes time to like when you're doing your papers.
Right.
Right. They want to see that you're responsible. You're not a burden on society. You're actually contributing to it. So that they want to see that the IRS is getting reports from you, and so you apply with that. And with me, when you do that, if I see your passport, that means you don't have to send it in with the application. I'm vouching for you that you show me your passport and it's authentic. I take a forensic class, to make sure that it's authentic and all that stuff. But yeah, we'll do that. I also help with forming business formations as well.
Yeah.
LLCs, stuff like that. I also do consultations for people who want to. They want to know if they can. It's time to switch over to an S corp. S corp is like I don't want to say a myth, but you're usually not better off with an S corp.
Unless if you're making more money.
Yeah. Unless you're up there, then and I'm making money. That your net income is about at least 50 grand. So that means after you pay all your expenses, you have 50K left. Then you can consider it. But even then, right? An S corp it just adds more compliance to you. It's just a separate return that needs to be filed, and it becomes more expensive. You need to, you really need a bookkeeper. You need to do payroll, and people don't do that. I always tell people, we play that lottery that the IRS is never going to audit, or find out. But when people that don't, when the S corp owners, man, I'm getting too technical. Sorry, but when
I
S
love
corp,
this because I have an S corp.
Yeah,
I agree, and I hate it.
Yeah, S corp owners don't even take a salary. Oh my God, that's a huge no-no. You have to take reasonable compensation, because what that means is when they catch on to you, they'll go back as many years as possible, right?
Which is what, like 5 years?
No. Well, the thing is, like, they'll consider that fraud.
I got you.
So its fraud is indefinitely.
Oh, so lifetime.
Yeah,
Okay.
when it's fraud. When it's a regular, you forgot this, something, nothing. There's the 6 year look back, that there's a limit.
Okay.
Right. But yeah. But anyway.
Okay. We'll talk about that. We should start our own podcast. Just talk about business formation.
Well, that's one of my goals.
You should do it. Well, goals. Make it happen, Captain.
And I love how you have this rule, because I want to do something like that.
Make
like this
it
as
happen.
well.
Man, if you need help, I'll help you, because
Dude,
I love
you're going to be my new best friend, bro.
Yes,
I'm telling
I love
you.
it, brother.
Yes, I will see your videos. I'm like, I got to meet that guy.
And we met at a networking event.
At a networking
That's
event.
the key to networking, man. You get to meet some amazing people.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't have a tax friend. I'm like, well, you're a great guy, but you do taxes now.
Yeah, it's like having a good mechanic as a friend,
lawyer, doctor, mechanic.
Doctor, you need that in life, It's
That's funny. Okay, so as far as your business is concerned, do your clients care that you're living in Medellin?
Okay, so I'll tell you a little secret. I don't publicize that I'm in Medellin yet, because I don't know if I'm, if they find out, I'm like, well, I'm visiting. Right. I just don't want to give the impression yet that I'm. I want them to see that nothing has fallen off on their work. Mm-hmm. I don't have a big practice.
Yeah.
I'm very selective of the clients. I just don't want to become one of these, tax mills. I just do, for $100, $200.
Right.
No. I work with a lot of business owners and stuff like that. So, it's never come up. I have to a couple that are, that I'm close to. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm in Medellin right now, but we never get into the personal side of I live here or whatnot. They're like, oh, great. I was there, visiting. I'm like, yeah, it's amazing here, But yeah, never had that conversation. But, the key is that I want them to understand that the fact that I'm not in the U.S., the level of service has no drop off whatsoever. Actually, here I have more time. To be honest, I'm much more organized here than I was in the U.S. So I'm very on customer service, because that's what really separates the tax practices.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of people leave the big CPA firms to work with a smaller one, because they just feel that they get lost. They send an email and they won't hear from that firm for 3 weeks. Meanwhile, with me, they're getting, at the latest, 24 hours.
Right.
If I'm not answering right away, at least telling them, look, I'll get back to you, in a few. Let me finish some things up here. But yeah, and I really want to make it work here, and it so far is working out
working?
real well. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll have a
I'm very happy.
follow-up one in like a year and see how
Yeah,
you've been
cool.
doing.
Yeah, excellent. And at that networking event, I've linked up with what was it, Felix?
Oh, Felix, yeah.
Yeah. I had a meeting with them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna start
About taxes,
collaborating.
about working?
Yeah, about collaborating work. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'll be working, helping
Yeah.
them out as well. And so yeah, and if anybody needs tax consultation,
How
reach
can
out.
they reach you? How can they reach you?
Several ways. You can go to my website, castlerocktax.com.
Your Instagram?
My Instagram is Castle Rock Tax.
That's in the link in the description as well.
And you can even my WhatsApp, my business WhatsApp, not the one you have, but I have a business WhatsApp
okay,
as well.
yeah, send that over to
you know,
me.
I'll
Do
send
you
that.
do personal income tax as well? Or
I
just-
do.
Okay.
I do every. I just don't advertise the run of the mill personal taxes because especially the ones the ones that earn income credit because those are that could be a time bomb
No, I got
because so much fraud is done with those that every tax return you're liable up to $2,600 in fines, and then the clients usually don't want to pay you more than $250.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I'm fine. I know it's part of the issue, but $250 is not. I have like a minimum that I charge.
Okay.
And it's not $250.
I gotcha, yeah.
So I just don't do many of those just to avoid the back and forth
Right.
and stuff like that. But I'll do them.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in, I'm like, and they agree to my price, con todo el gusto.
Right.
A pleasure.
Okay. And what would you advise to someone that is looking to come down and do what you're doing? Work from here, live in Colombia.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the key things, and I assume that you're saying, coming over here to live, you'll be like a nomad, and essentially you'll be earning in dollars, and you'll bringing in your money, some way, like I use Remitly, and I'll bring some of my cash in. That's just what I need, right, to cover. I pay a lot here with credit cards, as well, so I don't need to have that much cash on hand here. But if you do, plan accordingly. You do want to have like a little slush fund for emergencies. You want to keep some money at hand. That you're not going to touch. Break glass in case of emergency type of thing. But really understand that you're coming to a country where things could it's relatively inexpensive. But if you go crazy, it will get expensive fast. And in many different ways, many different ways. If you're earning as an independent contractor, you want to set, the rule of thumb is, set aside 30% of what you're bringing in. Like what I do is, for example, I have my savings account. So when money comes in, I'll always take 30% of whatever came in. Even if it was $100, $30 goes into that, and I don't touch it until tax season. Okay. Usually I've saved up that I get to keep a lot of that because I was able, but you just don't know, and you don't want to be in the crosshairs of the IRS.
Yeah. Or
it's
crosshairs of life.
of life, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But again, it's coming here is to me, it has been like a second, a new lease on life, I would say, and not that I was doing bad in the U.S., but I think, Andrew, that a lot of people, they love when they come to Medellin, right? And the reason why they're so awed by it is because society in the U.S. tells you, yeah, we're the best thing in the world, and don't get, I'm not going to mince words about it. The United States, I am so thankful. I'm a U.S. citizen. I love the U.S., but there's so much more to life than just staying in that pigeonhole and whatever. I will say in one country, go out there, see the world, But when you come to Medellin and then you see this level of everything is more relaxed. Okay, you can basically bring it down a few notches. All right, you're not going to be in the competitive race over there that you see that your friend bought a new BMW and you have your 2-year-old car and you're already thinking how you're going to turn your back, negotiated to trade it in for that a car similar or better, that fulano got a new house, and you're already thinking of or made some improvements to their house, and I find personally that that's one of the negatives of society over there in the U.S. With all its pluses, which is there's so many, so many you can even list them in one sitting, but that's once you come here, you're like, gosh, and then let's talk about women. Women here are so approachable. If you treat them well, if you're a gentleman, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. And people here, like, one of the things that I find is so amazing. I was telling my mom, because she's very a lot on protocols and stuff like that. I'm like, Mom, you walk into an elevator, and it's like a non-written rule that they'll say "Buenas tardes," and when they step off the elevator, "Hasta luego." The cordiality is like the rule of law here, and in general, right? I mean, probably not everybody, but yeah, and so it's like a breath of fresh air. Especially for us Latinos, I would think, because knowing the language also
that helps
a lot. That really is a multiplier, when it comes to the experience here. Just to be able to effectively communicate with somebody, get across, and like one thing I like to like integrate some of the words that I'm learning from here, like I use the word amañado mucho, and the G word when I'm pissed off, instead of the F word, but but yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air when you come here. Again, it's not perfect by far, but it's so beautiful that you don't see the imperfections, it's
yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I love living here, and I'm really glad to have met you, man. I think that we're going to be friends for a while.
Hey, Andrew.
I think I need you to review my taxes, my corporate structure.
Absolutely.
No, but we'll definitely be hanging out when I go to. I love going to Viva to work. Maybe I'll go work out there one day.
Yeah, man. Let me know. We'll meet up. We'll link up.
I walk to Viva from here.
Yeah,
it's just along
Las Vegas. Absolutely.
It's just the easiest walk.
I've walked from my apartment to Viva.
Yeah.
But I only did it once, and I won't do it again because it was killer on my knees.
Going downhill?
Downhill. I'm going down the Loma de Benedictinos, and that is such a steep hill. Yeah. And when I arrived at Viva, after sitting down and then let me walk back, I'm like, oh, the knees. Okay, Uber time.
Uber time, yeah.
That's another thing, Uber here. Oh, my God.
So
it is so reliable, cheap.
Yeah.
And it's the recommended source of transportation for us Colombians, for example, with, taxi. I just, what I don't like about taxis? And I had one guy try to bringing me from Laureles, like around 2 o'clock in the morning. He tried to,
up the charge.
Up the charge. Want to charge me 60,000. It was like usually 25. And I'm like, dude, here, 30. And you're lucky. Yeah, but he thought I was drunk or something. I was like, oye, yo no estoy borracho. So you're not bringing in some drunk that doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
But anyway, and that's, the perks of knowing the language, right?
Right.
But yeah, Uber is very, very reliable here, and I haven't had any bad experiences. And it's so cheap, compared to, I don't go that far, but even like, when I've had friends, I invited somebody from Bello, for example, the most have been like $12.
Yeah.
That's like to the 3 blocks in the U.S. That's what it costs. But yeah, Uber.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see if there's any questions here. I've been to 41 countries, and I still chose to settle in Colombia. I also lived in Tokyo. Yeah, that's T-Mac.
That's cool.
T-Mac is part of the Medellin Masterclass.
Ooh, awesome.
He's a member there. We rent cars now on Uber here in the United States. Wow, you can rent a car on Uber. That's cool. Not here yet. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Rafa, for being on. We'll definitely be doing a follow-up.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Andrew. It's been an amazing experience. I'm so glad I got to meet you, and and hopefully this will be the start of something productive, for both of us. And again, thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us. We will be live again next Friday as usual. Links to his Instagram, and I'll put his website there as well. Will be in the description, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Hasta luego.
Take care, guys.
All right. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.